Feel your feet. Feel the knees align straight ahead over the feet and the hips relax back as though you're sitting back in a chair. Just slightly. And then move to the alignment of your spine. So try and feel the head being pulled up and the shoulders relaxing down. Tailbone relaxing down. And just check with your breathing to make sure it's natural and smooth. And we'll start with the opening exercise. So the opening exercise, the fingertips come up to eye level. And we start to rotate. So Mr. Moy's system is kind of an amalgamation of different things, I guess, as many of the arts are, but his particularly is not really, it doesn't really fall within the realm of a lot of the, let's say, accepted Tai Chi styles. Because he kind of overlaid these principles from different arts and different practices. So it's somewhat of a hybrid with, of course, the emphasis on health, and particularly the emphasis in his system is an emphasis on stretching the spine. And a lot of the kind of principles that he uses come quite a bit from an art called Shin and another art called Low Cup, which we'll be exploring later in the workshop. But then a lot of the principles do overlap with Tai Chi principles as well. I'll move to the next one. So drawing up with one hand, pushing out, while the other hand pulls in. Try to resist the urge to push. As soon as you push, the shoulders tend to tense up. So you can focus more on the feeling of the lower hand pulling in and experiment with how that connects to the feeling of the hand going out. So we press into the feet and the arms can circle out. There are different ways to do the arms, but we'll do this one first. And they come up to the forehead. As they come to the forehead, you bring your hand around the thumb and close the fingers around the back of the hand. Okay. The way Mr. Moy taught it is that men grab the right thumb and ladies grab the left thumb. So you're coming into that position at the forehead. So we'll just do that again. Pressing into the feet. Hands meet at the forehead, and then release your shoulders, elbows, the back of your neck, and let the spine roll. So you feel between the shoulder blades, into the middle back, into the lower back, keeping the neck relaxed. When you reach the bottom, you connect to the feet. As you press gently into the feet, feel the center pelvis rotating under and the spine rolling up. And then about the last third of rolling up, the hands come up to the forehead. And you press the hands down and press up through the top of the head. But all we do is swing the arm back and make a reverse circle, just like you ever did the swing the bucket of water around as a kid. Just like you're doing the backstroke. And the other side. If you go from a shoulder width position, you can pivot your toes out to 45 degrees and then pivot your heels out and then turn the toes slightly out. So that's generally the approximate width that we want. So I always just say wider than the shoulders with the toes turned out. Okay. And with this one, the primary focus is the yao, or the lower back. So dan yao is this area. We're trying to relax this area. So we'll just start with sinking back and down into the chair, and then pressing straight up. And don't sink too far at first, just a little bit down and back, and then back up. And what I want you to pay attention to is trying to keep the feeling of the head pulling up and the tailbone relaxing down. And just have your focus on the pulling back of the waist and just allowing the knees to accommodate however they need to. The key is that the first focal point is the lower back, going back and down, rather than the knees. If the knees move first, then it becomes very hard to find the hips. So you start in that lower back and waist, and then just allow the knees to relax. So the hands, standard method with the hands is that the palms turn up and then the palms turn down. Sitting back and down, pressing up. Maintain the alignment of the spine. So you can use this as a means to stretch the back further. If you really want to stretch and you don't have that flexibility, you can just hang your back down. So you can do that a few times to really get things opened up. And then ideally when you use the pole or the bar or whatever it is, then you want to try to focus more and more on not relying on it so much as you do the exercise, just so it's there to help you balance and you can feel confident going a little bit lower. And you relax the shoulders and elbows and cross the wrists, simply at the height of the throat. And the palms turn up. And you open the chest. Just feel the chest gently opening inside the chest, just expanding. The elbows stay down and the fingertips stay up. So when you reach this end position, your arm, your hand should be in this configuration, with the fingertips as much up as you can, the thumb stretching straight out, and the elbow rotated down. So you have those 3 points, fingertips up. You can think of the thumb also expanding open like an L shape. And then the elbow as down as you can. So we'll do a few of these ones. We open. Then from here, stretching through that thumb, and then through the index finger, through the middle finger, through the ring finger, through the pinky, as the palms rotate to face the back. Then you pull the arm straight back in the direction that the thumb is pointing. Then you release the shoulders down, feel the shoulder blades drop as the arms come through and the wrists cross, and we return. Palms rotate open, elbows relax down, chest opens from the inside, keeping the fingertips up, expanding, and then rotating from inside the shoulder joint, stretching through the fingers, palms face back, pull back in the direction that the thumb points. Release the shoulders. The arms swing through as the shoulders release. And we'll do the turning exercise now. So for this one, we just rotate the center, or rotate the spine. Try to keep the weight balanced in both feet. And some of the markers you can look for with this one is that the elbow will travel across to the center line. Before the hand starts to push down. These exercises that we want to be traveling on a straight line. Even as I sink and turn, my body's staying in the center. As I press up, rotate, my body remains in the center. Okay, so what will be a typical thing, that typical error is that when people come into the front, they'll come over to this side. And when people come to the back, they'll come over to this side. So there's this kind of side to side movement. We don't want that. The idea is to come around, turning around the center line, continuing to rotate around that center line. As we sink into the foot, pressing up, rotating around the center line, sinking and continuing to rotate around the center line. So we have up, turning, down, turning. So the more you can refine your awareness of your center line, the better. The more sense this exercise will make. One of the principles in this exercise is you want to, when you're in the front foot, you want to have a straight line from the heel to the back of your head. So this line here, we want to be straight. Okay, we don't want to lean the body forward and we don't want to have the body too upright. We're actually trying to cultivate a line of power or force through the leg and out through the top of the spine. So the more you can pay attention to that line, the more you can benefit from particularly the force through the back of the leg and using that force to open up the spine. Like this, turn back. Push into the foot, turn, push into the back foot, turn, up through the spine, down, up, down, up, down. By that is you try to feel the upright spine, the releasing of the front hip, allowing the weight to spiral into the foot. So you keep it fairly upright to start. And you try to resist the urge to push. And you just feel up through the spine and continue up through the spine as you sink to the front foot. And then press up through the spine and continue up through the spine as you sink into the back foot. So after some time spent working on that idea, you can start to extend both sides, meaning that you're going to start sitting lower in each leg respectively. So at first it doesn't have to be far, maybe a couple of inches that you sink into each side. And then as you begin to understand the sinking process and the spiraling process, you can continue to release and release and release and release, release and release and release. press up. So it's all about the releasing in the hips, same in the back. Release, 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 release. Up, 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 50-50. Down, 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 down. You don't have to say that, but you can if you like. So the feet are open wide, wide. And the toes are turned way out. And the main component of this exercise is sinking down and back, keeping the knee aligned over the foot, and keeping the other knee pointing up on the straight leg. So one leg is straightening, one leg is bending. And you turn. One leg is straightening, one leg is bending. Okay. So you can just practice those basic leg mechanics. This is a really good thing to focus on at first. So as you sink, rotate and sink, you're turning to face the straight leg. You press up to the center, same like the Toyu, you find the 50-50 and then you release back and down in both hips. So you feel both hips releasing back and down. Evenly try to keep the pelvis level. If you want to do this with the kitchen sink or something, it's a really good place to practice. So a variety of ways we can use the arms here. One of the simple ways is to just press out with the hands as you sink. And then release the arms and press into the foot, come up to center. Align, press out with the hands and sink back and down. On your arms. And press palms down. And come up in the middle. Rotate, press the palms down. You feel everything rising and sink. So there's a moment of floating. You come across that 50-50 point. It floats and it releases into the other side. The method is to do the changing of the tendons exercise at the beginning of it with the wrist cross. The palms turn out and you pull apart as you sit. Pull apart. And again, just like the Danyu, you can get a huge amount of benefit from this one, just dropping even 4 inches, maybe 12 centimeters, 105 millimeters. And as you start to feel the back opening, the tailbone pulling down and opening up under your arms, then again, once you feel that release, you can follow it. And let it pull you down. Again, maintaining your knee alignment. Pulls back, down. The main thing here is that you keep the knee alignment strong, and also that you try to keep the straight leg foot on the ground. Okay, so there are some systems that have exercises where the heel comes up. With this one, we're trying to keep the toes pressing into the ground on the straight leg. I can tell most of you guys wish that we had been doing this for the whole class. So sinking into both feet. We'll start with a bow. So just remembering the bow however you want. Bring the hands to the forehead. Release the shoulders, the elbows, the back of the neck, rolling down. Rolling up. Hands pull up. Connecting the feet, pressing up. Relax down. Pivot on the heel. Come up. Pivot. Sink into the front foot. Press up, hold the ball. Sink down, take a step. Press up and turn. Left grass the bird step. Press up. Sink down to step. Press up, fingers at the wrist. Sink into the front foot. Long spine. Up and turn. Down into the back foot. Up turning, center, down turning, release. Press into the front foot. Drop the elbows. Press into the back foot. Up and up. Press into the front foot. Now turning. Drop the elbows. Pivot to your pigeon toe. Bring the left hand underneath. Sink and step. Fingers under the wrist. Grass bird's tail. Hands turn, pull apart. Sink down. Up to 50-50. Front hip. Release the spine. Up and back. Down. Up. And down. Turning around. Drop the elbows. Turn the center. Pivot to your pigeon toe. We'll do one repetition. Right hand comes under to hold the ball. Step. Press up. Fingers at the wrist. Sink into the front foot. Let the spine go. Hands turn. Press into the front foot. Hold them apart. Sink down. Press up. Sink down. Press up. Hands split. Sink down. Press up and push. Sink down. Press into the front foot. Drop the elbows. Turn the center. Pivot on the heel. Left hand comes under. Sink down and step. Up and turn. Sink down. Turn the hands. Press up and open. Sinking down. Press up to press the wrist. Sink into the front foot. Press up and back. Release the shoulders, elbows. Now we're going to finish here. Pressing up. Sinking into the front foot. Now into crossed hands. We press up, the arms come up. Moving on the left heel. Adjust the right foot, hands overhead. Sit back and down. Step in with the right foot. Press up, cross at the wrists. Release the shoulders, elbows. Press the hands down, up through the spine. Relax. And then finishing with a bow.